Little bit of story time, y'all. I need to tell you about my most intense codependent relationship because it wasn't to do with me dating a person. There's nothing romantic here. There's no, juicy, sexy stories. My biggest, most exposed, most terrifying codependent wound comes out with me and professional life. It's horrifying, y'all. Me and jobs, it's like I revert into a 5-year-old child. And turns out I'm not the only one. It's just that, most adults are really good at hiding this. But for myself, my work journey has been hilarious. Like, if you look at my resume, I look like I'm composed of like 11 different people. The different jobs I've had, I tend to not stay at jobs for super, super long anymore. I think my attention span died when I left the world of academia. So when I left school, I was in school for my entire life. From age 3 up until age 24, I never left school except to take, required summers off. So when I was in school, there was a whole lot of structure to my life. There were assignments due all the time. There were teachers who were clearly the authority figures, and I didn't really have to set my own schedule, set my own creations. And even when I got older and was still like going through school, the different levels, like my master's program, I was getting paid to be at school. I didn't even have to figure out money. It's like it literally did everything for me. The institution was my daddy. So it's no wonder. And when I left, a whole lot of stuff started happening to me. And I didn't know what it was. Up until about age 24, I can kind of look back on it and say I never had a day where emotions took over. I never had a day that was like lost to like a stress freak out, a depression episode, anxiety episode. Like I just never really had it. I had moments of it, but it never took over my life. And it was usually to do with like a school assignment, and then once that particular assignment that triggered the thing was handed in, I was good. And it was just kind of like on to the next cycle. So when I left university, I suddenly started like feeling things, like a lot of things. I couldn't figure out what the hell it was. Once we leave the place, or the set of people, the environment in general, that was the factor that, made us have to act a certain way, that only required certain emotions to be the ones that we showed. The places that made us act smaller than we really are. Once we leave those places, it's like the rest of our body wakes up. So a lot of you guys who experience the wound of codependency, or who maybe had, a very emotionally flatlined life up until a random time when suddenly it was no longer that way, and like all of the depression and anxiety hit you and you had no idea what you started doing differently and what was happening. Your body was in a place that was finally safe enough where you were starting to explore more of you. It's all a very normal human reaction, and actually, looking back on it now, I'm really glad I started to feel, and I'm terrified for what would have become of me if I had stayed somewhere super safe that made me, only feel a certain family of emotions, like school, and if I had made that my life. Probably would have been a lot like Jordan Peterson. So, I'm really glad I left, but for me, a few years after school was just consistently, my emotions were like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was never regulated. I never even enjoyed my emotions. Like, I didn't like the sadness. I didn't like even the days that I was relieved from sadness. I didn't like those because I thought the sadness was going to come back anytime. It was just so uncomfortable all of the time. So, my relationship with work, in my kind of new way of being, where I make the calls, where I slowly am setting my own deadlines, stuff like that, where I'm making my own business, it's taken a completely revamped version of the work-me relationship in order to get stuff done. And I want to talk about some of the languaging that a lot of us use around our work life that I think is just it tires me out just hearing it. It's awful. It sounds like the straight up kind of like neglecty, abusive-y. Oh, it just hurts my body to hear it. When people use words like, how do I get my motivation back? Why do I have so much resistance? I have to beat my resistance. I have to, get my shit back together. So much extremely demotivating and devaluing language towards ourselves. What's really happening when you experience resistance, your inner child is losing their mind. They are terrified. And they want you to know it. And they want you to slow down, come sit beside them, and ask them what they need in order to move on in a way that feels trusting and safe to them. This is not something you beat out of you. I get pissed when I hear this stuff because I'm so sick of it. And it triggers like this fuck you kind of response in my own body. Like, no one comes near me with that stuff anymore. So it triggers my anger when I see it in other people. So this is a broadcast message to you all. If any of you have had the kind of relationship with your work where your identity got caught up with the company you worked at, the school that you were involved in, whatever, because it's very common. Capitalism loves for us to lose our identities in like institutions in general. So if this has happened to you and you're trying to recover from this and you're going through a lot of emotional new territory, aka maybe it feels painful to you, maybe it's confusing, maybe it's overwhelming, please fill your life with nurturing softness and kindness to learn a new way of being. Not to get over this, I was catching myself there. So you can actually experience physically a different relationship with how it is to work. There is no point in randomly making sure you get up at 5 a.m. so you can get everything done by 10 a.m. Like that does not impress me. That shows me that you're still clinging to some outside approval coming from who the fuck knows. I don't see anyone behind you making sure you get things done at a certain time. It's a fake alarm bell. It's a fake motivator. And to me, it screams of someone who is clinging for comfort and still grasping for it from a place of chaos and lack. Give yourself abundance. Actually slow down and find out slowly over time what it means for you to enjoy your work. This doesn't mean, oh, this is permission for me to not work at all. I just get to like relax my life away. Like, no, parenting yourself is really important. Taking responsibility for your dreams is the epitome of being a self-responsible human. Like, we're here to express our unique traits with other people, preferably. So I want your dreams to get noticed by you. And I want you to achieve the stuff that's on your heart. But we're not going to get there by beating you into it. There's no way. The burnout will come for you. And if it doesn't, more power to you, I guess. There is definitely a certain kind of brand of wound that is commonplace out there. I think the folks who really achieve like mega monolith businesses, their specific wound seems to do really well with the constant flogging. I don't know what words are. But for most of us, if we're constantly saying like, why can't I get there? Why do I lose my motivation and then sometimes I get back into it and then I lose it again? It's because you're tired and your little inner child wants you to finally see him or her, to slow down and ask them what they actually want from you and how you can actually work together in a way that is amicable and wonderful and nurturing. And it's so possible. If you want to know how, maybe I'll make another video on that, but across the board, I have the same answer to carving out new pathways in life, to starving the old, you know, I need to work harder, and then your body jumps into action in this kind of like freaked out, scarcity driven way. There's one across the board answer for how to deal with that. Maybe I'll make video numero 3. Any behavioral change that you really, really want to treat from the root, it's going to come down to safety. Making yourself feel safe, encouraging self-trust in you. There are so many ways to do this, so stay tuned for my next video, okay? It's going to be all about practical ways to make yourself trust your work environment and yourself to parent you and take you to the next level from a place of softness and love. So I'll see you guys with that video. Thanks for watching this one. Leave a comment if you're one of those ones who just berates themselves for experiencing new things. And I get it. It's not your fault. We were not taught a new way of being. We were not taught the soft way of being. So leave a comment if this is you. I'd be really happy to get back to you and any like specific questions that you have. I'm really active on Instagram as well. Come meet me there. I'll leave my handle down below, and I've got lots of other YouTube videos made and a few more coming. Well, many more coming. I've got lots to say about this stuff. My website also, I'm going to link my website down below. So that tells you all about the one-on-one coaching program that I offer. It's a 3-month, really closely tied, personalized partnership between the two of us. And I love helping people fundamentally heal this root wound that exists in so many humans that, you know, makes us often feel afraid, hypervigilant, all of that jazz. So if you would love to have a little bit more self-trust, a whole lot more fulfillment in life and your relationships with much less burnout and much less of this, you know, I gotta get back to the grind feeling, I gotta work harder to heal, I have so much more work to do. I specialize in helping folks alter that mindset for something a lot more achievable. So check them all out. It'll all be in the description below, and I will see you very soon with a new video.